Nurhaziqah binti Hussin. My metric number is 202839. And in this video, I will be explaining about a poem entitled The Monsoon History that is written by Shirley Lim Geok Lin for the subject LHE3257 Critical Literary Analysis in Language Teaching. So, let's get started. Before I begin with the poem, I would like to briefly explain about the poet of the poem. Her name is Shirley Lim Geok Lin, and she was born in the year of 1994.
Shirley Lim Geok Lin is a famous poet in Malaysia and America.
In this poem, the poet actually highlighted about her background, which is in Malacca, and the culture of Baba and Nyonya. The poet's background help us to understand the underlying meaning of the sentences in the poem. Now, let us take a look at the title of the poem, which is The Monsoon History. The title of the poem actually describes the poet's ancient adventures in Malacca, which is her home, during the monsoon season at night. And the word history refers to the poet's culture, which is the Baba and Nyonya, or known as Peranakan family. The Peranakan family refers to the descendants of immigrants of Chinese that come to Malaysia, and the word Nyonya means Peranakan woman, while the word Baba means Peranakan Man. However, the word Peranakan itself originally means the local born. So let us move on to the mood and tone of the poem. If some of you guys are wondering how does a poem has a mood or tone, it is basically to present the poet's feeling to make the poem more meaningful. The poet described a feeling of nostalgia as she reminiscing her past experience by looking back at the tradition and cultures in the past life, which was 40 years ago. And for this aspect, I would like to highlight the line in Stanza 5, which mentioned that this was 40 years ago when Nyonya married Baba. This line portrays a feeling of sorrow because all of the moment that the poet's experience has gone and became memories.
Of the poem is in Malacca, which is the poet's hometown. I believe the poet chose this setting is because it brings wonderful memories and meaningful life experiences to the poet. Now I will explain about the theme of the poem. The theme indicates the poet's childhood memories as she shares her recollections of past experience that happened 40 years ago in Malacca. And the second theme in this poem is regarding family relationships, as the poet share her strong bond between her mother and her father. And the last one is the cultural values, which bring good impacts to the poet, which we can clearly understand through the poem. Let's move on to the core part of the poem, which is the meaning. So let's begin with the first stanza. The poet describes the things that happen around her during the monsoon night at her home. Basically, the monsoon carries a heavy rainfall and the atmosphere is very humid. And she stated that because of the humid atmosphere, it makes everything looks damp. Even the mattress. She said that the mattress is damp, just like a smoke curl that covers every inch of an area. The poet also stated that the flora and fauna, which are the trees and insects, are also covered with water from the heavy rainfall. And she said that these insects are able to endure their life as the air is soaking from the cold rains. The rain drops all over the place with different directions, like a small insect such as centipedes that moving in different ways. The second stanza, the poet describes about the darkness of the sky, where it has reflected to the earth, and it portrays that there will be a drenching rain that will fall from the sky and humidity will cover the earth. Okay, so after the rain fall, it has stopped and the flora and fauna have appeared, such as for illustrations, The small snails appear among the morning glory vines as the rains rest from pouring to the earth. In the third stanza, the poet describes about her family lifestyle according to the Baba and Nyonya's culture. The poet described that she lives in a secure home while drinking Milo during the rainy night and also wearing uncomfortable clothes, which is the sarung wrap. The poet also stated that her family counted the silver pepper, especially for the ancestral spirit and local deities. This is the method for Chinese culture to show respect towards their family member that has passed away. The poet also stated that the portraits of their grandfathers are hanging in a room so that they will always be remembered. In the first stanza, the poet described the activities that she has done during the monsoon night at her home. The poet describes that she is reading a poetry book by a famous British poet that called Hussin at 6 p.m. while wearing her pajamas. And the poet is reading the poetry book during the rainy night, which give a mood to the poet as the rain has a music rhythm, that give a sense of feeling while the poet is reading the book. And then the poet described that the wind blow that come from the heavy rain have insects and black spiders in it which can bite the poets. And then the poets also mentioned that there's termites in her room. It even built hills of eggs and even has 8 queens. And then the poet's mother swept up all of the insects so that the poets can sleep peacefully. And then the poet also described that before she is going to sleep, she will wash her feet with her mother, and while getting ready for sleep, she will look at her mother releasing her hair and unbuckle the silver belt from her waist. And her mother is waiting for her father to come home and go to bed. The poet's father is meeting the fisherman that arrives from the stormy sea. In the fifth stanza, which is the last stanza in the poem, the poet described the atmosphere after the monsoon ends. The poet stated that in Malacca, it is now quiet and serene, where people have gone to sleep peacefully. The poet emphasized that this was her life 40 years ago when Nyonya married to Baba. Okay, now I'm going to present the literary elements of the poem. I have found 3 major elements, which are metaphor, simile, and personification. So the first one is metaphor. It is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. In the poem, this can be seen in stanza 1, line 1 and 2. The air is wet, curls in apparitions of smoke. It means that the humid air and the water vapor characterize the image of curl smoke that covers an area. The second one is for bed. Watch mother uncoil her snake hair. This can be seen in stanza 4, line 10. It means that the poet's mother's long hair that is being released from the bun is look like a long snake. Second literary element in the poem is simile. It is a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another that is different. Okay, so in the poem, this can be seen in stanza 1, line 4 and 5. Like fat white slugs furled among the timber, the poet compares that the water vapor in the air is like a worm that crawls on the wood. The second example is walking quietly like centipedes. The air is walking everywhere. This can be seen in stanza 1, line 9 and 10. The poet compares that the humid air can be felt everywhere, as if centipedes are crawling at every inch of an object. The third example of simile is the air is still, silent, like slippers rock in the pantun. This can be seen in stanza 5, line 1 and 2. The poet compares that the serene moment portrays people that sleep in a peaceful and soundly manner. The third literary element that I have found is personification. It is the attribution of a personal nature or human characteristic to something non-human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. In the poem, this can be seen in stanza 2, line 3 and 4. Small snails appear clashing their timid horns. The poet described the small snail as a timid person. Now we have come to the last point of the poem analysis, which is the moral values. The moral values that I have learned, which portrays in the poem, is we need to appreciate our family members, as they are the one that stays with us regardless the circumstances. We also need to respect our culture and others, as every culture has their own uniqueness. Another one that I have learned is childhood experience nurtures us, especially in terms of characteristic, and it is crucial, especially when we turn into the adulthood. Last but not least, we need to appreciate the practices in our cultural lifestyle, because it gives a sense of purposes in our life. Finally, we have done with the poem analysis, and if you guys are still watching this, thank you so much for staying with me until the end of the video, and I really hope that this video will be a stepping stone to encourage and motivate you to learn more about poems. Wishing everyone a good health and happiness, and stay safe always. That's all from me. Thank you.